Hey y'all, Ashanae Justice coming with another pick a card reading. And this one is called What Are People Realizing About You Now? Let me give out a trigger warning. This can be triggering to a lot of people. So if this is not what you're ready to hear, then don't listen to this video, okay? Go ahead and go to a nicer video, okay? So, yes, if this reading resonates, like, share, subscribe, always comment. If it doesn't still, like, share, subscribe, always comment. Thank you. All right, pile number one, this is your reading for what have people realized about you. All right, we're just going to go ahead and jump into your reading. Remember, this can be good things, this can be bad things, this can be lies, this can be whatever it is that you resonate with. If it's a whole lot of malarkey, just go to another pile, or you can see if another reading suits you better. All right. So what are people realizing? For one, everybody that you're dealing with, or even if it's just one person, had a game that they were playing. And it was a game that you ultimately couldn't win unless you drew back your energy and just stopped playing the game. This is what they thought. But some people are starting to realize that you did turn around and start playing the game. And you got them to this level where they felt like they had your back up against the wall, that you were finna drop, and there was no coming back. There was not going to be any recovery from it. I mean, they had your back against the wall. They felt like you started dibbling, dabbling back into bad habits, and you would cover it or cover your tears with this unfazed energy, like you were unbothered by all of the shit that was going on around you and within you as well. They felt like you were so done, or like as in finished, as in they destroyed you, that you couldn't play the game or couldn't continue to play the game because they just had you stuck, constantly doing the same thing over and over and over, no matter what day passed, how many hours, how many months, how many years. They felt like they just had you stuck and they wanted to leave you there. They wanted you to want them, to need them, to run back and apologize to them. They wanted you to hold these grudges within you so that nothing can manifest for you, nothing can come to fruition. You cannot be blessed with anything more because you couldn't appreciate what you already had because you were in the mindset that you had nothing. You were depleted. But what they realized was, even when you were in this energy, and I'm not saying that a lot of you were, but let's say if you were in this energy, they didn't realize you were an empress. They didn't realize that you could overcome it. They didn't realize that even when you lost the hope and the faith, you still had spirit guides. You still had ancestors. You still had the deity that you pray to. They didn't realize that you had other methods to keep you spiritually afloat, mentally afloat, emotionally afloat. They didn't realize that the only reason why they had you down and out like this is because you actually cared. See, because if you was in this type of situation with any random person that you did not know, did not love, you wouldn't even allow this to go this far. You would have handled it right then and there. You would have cut it off. You would have destroyed the person back, fought the person, got the person locked up. You would have did so many other things that the only reason this even went this far is because you cared about them deeply. You actually love these people. And if it didn't reach love, you just cared about them deeply. And so they didn't realize that just as much as you giveth, you can taketh back. And that's exactly what you did. You took your energy away because, yes, you were in this energy, but it was because you didn't realize that this was a game that was being played until you realized it was. And then once you realized it was, that unfazedness wasn't a lie or a facade. It wasn't a mask. You really became unfazed because you realized that these people don't love you like you love them. And the only reason why you're in this crazy energy down here is because you're stuck loving someone who would never or could never love you as you loved them. They didn't realize that the only reason why you was attached to them was because you were emotionally, mentally attached to them. And once you let that go, you started going towards other options, other endeavors, other people, putting yourself in the right situations, going towards the right opportunities, allowing yourself to rest when you need to rest versus always being on the go, trying to figure it out, trying to do. You had to take a break and come back to get back to yourself and remember who you are, which is the Empress. You bossed up on your emotional intelligence. You got the King of Chalices out here with the Queen of Chalices. They couldn't emotionally penetrate you anymore. And they're realizing that. You opened your heart just enough to allow others to love you in the way that you needed to be loved as you closed off the rest of it towards these people. And the more you closed off to them, they couldn't continue to send hatred, resentment, disdain. They couldn't keep sending that to you because it closed off. You blocked them. You cut them off. So the only thing was open was to new energies, or the energies that already loved you and already surrounded you, to continue to come in, which allowed your heart to open up even more. And as you sat back and looked at everyone's situation, you felt sorry, but realized you could no longer be in that sorry energy for them anymore. You were doing a lot of emotional transmuting, where you were taking on their energy and allowing them to take on your energy so that they wouldn't continue to feel pain anymore. They wouldn't continue to cry or just feel in despair anymore. You would allow these people to vent to you so much that they trauma dumped so much on you that it started to feel like you had PTSD. You started to feel like these were your memories. These were your these were your trauma-filled memories, and they weren't. You started beating your own self up, mentally at least. Emotionally, you were always covered, but mentally, it would penetrate those emotions for them. Because with the Queen of Cups and the King of Cups out here, you were already protected by yourself. And of course, your ancestors and all of that. But emotionally, you were already protected. The issue was mentally is how they got you. And that mental, that issue or conflict that you had within yourself is what penetrated your emotions, which allowed them to creep in and seep in. But regardless of the situation, you're still the King of Cups, the Queen of Cups. You're still able to close that hole if you need to. But you loved them so much, you cared about them so much that you allowed it to stay open, not realizing that's how they were dumping their energy, their bad energy off on you, and using your energy to manifest whatever it is that they need in their life. They realized that they were, I'm going to say low-key jealous, Because no, like, a lot of people don't want to truly admit when they're jealous. So they feel like, low key, I could have been a little jealous. Low key, I could have, been a hater. Low key, I could have, caused her this emotional turmoil because I had my own emotional turmoil going on. It's always a low key though, even though it's more of a high key, they should be saying. They realize that you still celebrate even when you don't know where that celebration is going to eventually lead you to. You have the hope, you have the faith to continue the journey out. But as we know, our destiny is technically in God's hands. I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to say God. I can't keep saying other entities, all that. I don't want to go that deep, so I'm just gonna stick to God, okay? Because yes, all right. So they didn't realize that, and whatever's for you is always going to come to you. Now, you could delay it, you can deny it, that's your business. But these people were trying to force your hand into doing this by keeping you in this emotional despair, keeping you on these drugs or these bad habits, keeping you in the energy of wanting only them back versus finding new and feeling like you deserve new energies around you. These people wanted you stuck. They wanted you attached to them. They wanted you bound to them in some sort of way so that they can keep coming and ciphering off your energy, your knowledge, your wisdom, your advice, whatever it is you were giving them, their money, whatever it is, or just your emotions, your love. You know how somebody never experienced love before, and when they experienced it, they want it all. They want it all the time because they love how it feels. They could have loved the way that you loved them. And instead of allowing you to love everybody, they only wanted you to love them. And if you didn't just love them, it became an issue. It became a game. It became a fight to always bring you back to them. This person realized you made a sound judgment in cutting ties with them. It was the smartest thing that you could have ever done, as well as the most hurtful thing you could have ever done. But ultimately, it was for your power. It was for your benefit. It was for your happiness, your joy. It was for you. So they don't respect it. They don't care. They don't like that the ball is not in their court anymore, so they can't control you. So now certain people are coming back. Some have good intentions. Some don't know what their intentions are personally, but they do know that your energy is where they should be. I'm not even going to say entitlement. They're just so used to being in your energy that they know that they need to be back in that energy. And so they're going to come back just to see, what am I supposed to do next? Some people actually looked at you for advice. Some of you could have been a mentor to these people, or they were a mentor to you and realized that, once you bossed up on your knowledge or got older and wiser, you started to know things that they, probably skimmed across it, but didn't truly dive into. But now you're speaking in, and it's like, oh, wow, let me go obtain this knowledge through this person because it's something that I usually would like to study, but, I don't have time, I'm older, whatever their excuse is, it's just easier getting it from you. But they realize that you were an opportunity. I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you were an opportunity. You were the cup that they should have chosen. But instead they chose to keep you to the side while they fully went after other cups, other people, other offers. They kept you hanging. They'll text you here and there. They'll call you here and there. They'll allow you to come work. They'll allow you to come and oversee certain things, but it was never a exclusive position. You know, you couldn't find your name on the registry. You couldn't get them to call you their girlfriend or boyfriend. You couldn't get their family members to say uh, she was more than just their little friend, or he was more than just her little friend. You couldn't get family members to say that they loved you. You couldn't get people that you believed in to believe in you. You can't even get them to buy your products. There's so many things that you couldn't get anyone to do that you did for them, and for them to feel like you're just unfazed or unbothered, or you know, like, I'm not even saying that they didn't feel like you shouldn't have been in that energy. They know you should have been in that industry, because that's the energy that they wanted you to be in. That's the only way that this would work. If they didn't penetrate your mind and get your mind to believe that they deserve more or a higher pedestal in your life than what you deserved in theirs, they wouldn't have been able to get to your emotions. They wouldn't have, if you weren't born in their family, if they weren't born into your family, they wouldn't have been able to get to your emotions, not even your mental. And they know this now, officially now. Like back then, it was a teeter-totter. Like, maybe she's a little more intelligent than I thought. Maybe she's a little more wiser than I thought, experienced than I thought, and, you know, spiritually gifted than I thought. Then they'll be like, nah, because she still let me run this shit. I'm still able to duck and dodge and, you know, bob and weave and maneuver through this shit. But now they're realizing you are and you were. And yet you still give. You still care. Just not to the extent that it would destroy and deplete you anymore. All right, y'all. So that is your reading for what are people realizing about you now. All right. If that reading resonates, like, share, subscribe. Always comment. If it doesn't still, like, share, subscribe. Always comment. Thank you. All right, pile number 2. This is your reading for what are people realizing about you. So first, we're going to jump into the energy that you were in when you were dealing with these people, okay? So you were in an energy where you felt like you were just in a total despair, okay? So you may have been very trusting of these people, and they in return gave you poison apples, right? Gave you poison things, poison jewelry. And when I say poison, it could have been spell work, tainted, molded, old. It could have been giving you opportunities, dead-end opportunities and career paths. They're telling you, if you join this organization, you can be CEO in the matter of 3 weeks or 3 years. And 3 weeks came, nothing. 3 years came, nothing. And then they will promote somebody above you that has no experience, especially when you have your 3 years due to them lying to you. They will always give you lesser than what it is that you deserved, okay? They had you in this fragile state that you may have lost control over your own body. How you may have gained a lot of weight. Maybe you lost a lot of weight. Maybe you didn't keep up with your hygiene, or you overly kept up with your hygiene and it somehow kind of did a reversal on you, like as in, let's say, you know how dishes are not good to put in your body, especially in your vaginal area, right? And we would do it anyways because it would make us feel clean. Not now, but back then we would do it anyways because it made us feel clean, made us feel good, made it smell good down there. And then you go to the doctor and they're like, oh, you got a yeast infection. Oh, you have this type of infection going on down there. It's stuff that wouldn't happen if you never put that in there. And you got advice from people, and this is what they would do. They would give you that type of advice. Go ahead and douche, girl. It's good for you. It's gonna make you smell good. Da, da, da. Whole time they already know it's not good. They probably experienced it, or that somebody else experienced it and told them. Either way, they had the knowledge and they chose to give you the opposite, right? All right, they had you feeling like you were the creator of your world. You were the one controlling how you felt, what you were doing, how you were changing and creating your environment. Whole time they were controlling you. They were controlling your emotions. They were controlling your mental. Some they was controlling your finances. Some they was controlling your spirituality. They probably had you forced in religion versus, you know, being spiritual and being just out there and trying to figure out your own thing and who you are as a person. They kept you caged up, locked up. And they gave to you here and there. And that's how they were able to keep you caged up, because you felt like, well, they gave me this knowledge and they showed me this and they're supposed to be here for me. And that's what they say. And the whole time you're just in a cage, and they're feeding you every now and then to keep you stuck in that cage, to keep you hoping and wishing they would treat you better and just continue to be their entertainment for whatever period they needed you to be. They like that. They had you in the energy of being blinded to the pain that they were causing you. You would say, oh, that's my mother. That's just how she is. Oh, no, she's not really abusing me mentally or emotionally. That's just who she is. It doesn't hurt that much that she called me an idiot. It doesn't hurt that much that she doesn't always feed me. It doesn't hurt that much that when I'm struggling and I need her, she's never there. It doesn't hurt because I'm there for her. They had you in this state of need of them. And the whole time they barely gave you breadcrumbs. They had you hiding your true feelings, your true self, and just feeling drained and lifeless and like you just couldn't go anymore. You couldn't continue this anymore. And that's the energy that you're in, because these cards these are the dark mirror cards. These are a little negative and, you know, really sad. So that's enough explaining those, okay? So let's go to what they are realizing. They're realizing that you had a lot of choices. You just chose them. It wasn't that they were a need. They were a want. You actually wanted them in your life. You didn't need them. You wanted them. You cared for them. You loved them. They're realizing that you're the type that's going to take a risk. Eventually, that cup is going to run out. That cup could have been filled with love, lust, happiness, joy, despair, hatred, resentment. It could have been filled with all of that. But there was all feelings. But as people keep taking from that cup and keep taking from that cup, eventually that cup runs out. And then they realize you had 6 other cups surrounding you. All you needed to do was take a leap of faith. All you needed to do was have that curiosity hat roam, because your feet was ready to do the walking. Your hands was ready to do the cutting with the scissors. Your whole being was in tune with, this person has to go. The only issue is that cup didn't run out just when it needed to. And so you held on a little longer. But they're realizing that you have other supporters, helpers, spirits, ancestors. They're realizing that you genuinely wanted them in your life. You genuinely cared about them. You genuinely felt like that was just them. And they didn't have to change because you accepted them. But the issue is they had to deplete you in order for them to continue going. And you finally let go. They didn't realize that you had the energy within you to let them go fully. Let anyone go. Any situation. You probably stay in situations longer than you're supposed to. And that's why this person felt like they had forever. But forever finally ended. And it surprisingly caught them by surprise. Like it baffled them. They were like, wait, what? You got out of the energy? What am I doing wrong? What did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? What's going on? How? There's no way. You defeated their energy that was penetrating you this whole time. Because the cup ran out. They didn't realize that it wasn't truly their penetration of their energy. It was the cup that you had full of emotions for them that ran out. Because they kept doing shit. You didn't have to feel numb. You still had 6 other cups surrounding it, surrounding their one cup. You were giving to multiple parties and receiving from some of those parties. You knew what love was. You know what love is. You wanted them in your life. You didn't need them in your life. And they're coming to realization that you don't need them. Your will always turns in your favor because of the good karma that you put out into the world. The seeds that you've planted while they thought you were just down and out in despair, and you probably were. You were still planting seeds though. You were still planting seeds and watering them with your tears. And you had others to help you. Whether they came out and physically and verbally expressed it, like, hey, I'm watering your seed for you. I know you're down and out. Or you just realized they watered it without you knowing. Because something, like you had an epiphany. Like, when did this get watered? How did this happen? You did your little trace back and you realized, damn, my people got me. They realized that you had people that genuinely loved you as well. Yes, you had some people that did not care for you, and this person was a semi-borderline one. But you still had others that did, and they didn't realize that you always had your own cup. See, they thought you only had one cup, and the one cup went to them. And it was filled with all those feelings. But once again, you got 6 cups that surround their one cup. And that's for each individual that gives to you. Some may not. You got to cut them out too. But the ones that gave to you, that's also who you was giving to. You was giving to everybody. You were being depleted because you was giving to everybody. And some of those were the wrong people. So you weren't being depleted from the wrong cups, because the right cups was giving you water back. They was giving you emotions back. They was giving you love back. But the ones that were draining you, that's why you were depleted. It wasn't that person solely by themselves, although they gave themselves all of the credit. But now they're coming to realize, oh, she got other people depleting her. Oh, she got other people that love her. She got other people that care about her. Oh, wow. And then they came to realize you had a cup for yourself sitting right behind you. That you were giving to yourself. You were loving on yourself. You were planting the seeds for yourself. They couldn't take that cup away from you because they didn't even know about that cup. They thought they had you so down and out that you didn't even have a cup for yourself. That's how arrogant this person was. That's how emotionally manipulative this person tried to be and thought they were. The whole time you were just being genuine. They realized that that mental turmoil they tried to get you in. They tried to get you lost in words, lost in vibes, lost in emotions, lost in the physical. They tried to get you lost. Whole time you was a butterfly. You had to go in the darkness and create your cocoon and transform and do all your thing that you had to do until you was ready to pop out, which is ultimately what you did. You got your shit together mentally, emotionally, spiritually, financially. You may still be working on the finances, but you're getting it together. That's all that matters. That mental is coming up. You at a 6. That mental is coming up. That internal being. So you could be working on your outer appearance as well as your inner appearance. They realize that you're really working on yourself. You're really diving deep into yourself. You're really understanding yourself more. You're really understanding the position that you play in everyone's lives and acting accordingly versus overstepping your position. Some people didn't make the cut and some people did. This person did not. And they're realizing every poison apple they gave you, you took it because you wanted to, not because you needed to. And yes, you did do yourself a disservice, but it's because you genuinely messed with this person, which allowed you to paint another picture over the picture that was already being shown to you. Accountability on both parts, but mostly yours because you're dealing with yourself at the end of the day. They're realizing you were a star. You were a star amongst 100. They chose the 100, and now they can't even find your star anymore. And your star was the one that shined bright through the night. Your star was the one that kept them up, kept them going, kept them motivated, kept them out of despair, kept them out of the darkness, because you would light the sky every time. Every time this person needed you, whether it was to vent, to borrow money, to go somewhere with, that was you. But they couldn't see it because they were too busy looking at the hundreds of other stars. Not realizing that one day your star would move far away. And now they're sad because they're realizing who you were, the position you should have been in, and who they are not now in your life, in the position they was in. All right, so that is your reading for what are they realizing now about you. If this reading resonates, like, share, subscribe. Always comment. If it doesn't still, like, share, subscribe. Always comment. Thank you. All right, pile number 3. This is your reading for what are people realizing about you now. All right, so we're going to jump into like the energy that you were in when you were dealing with these people that are now realizing something about you, okay? So they had you feeling like you had no opportunities, like you had no way around whomever this is that you were dealing with. They made it seem like they were the keeper of all doors, or the doors that you needed to go through, and you felt like you just couldn't get through any door, any opportunity. They could have been blocking your career path. They could have been blocking your way to dealing with family members. Like some family members will only deal with certain family members, and they would be like, oh, she doesn't want to deal with you. Oh, she doesn't want to talk to you. They would make up countless lies to keep you and whomever it is that you're dealing with from dealing with each other. All right, they will block anything that you had going on if it's in their ability to. Okay, this person would send other people to do things as well. See, with them blocking you from other people, they didn't have to get their hands dirty, because all they had to do was say a couple of things and it was done. The other person wouldn't come tell you anything because they feel like you ain't want to mess with them. They feel like you ain't like them anyways. Okay, but when they need to do dirty stuff, then they would send someone to come and do it for them. Lace them up with a little information. Here they come, pulling your triggers by any means necessary, because they feel like they're protecting the other person, they're defending the other person. Whole time, you don't even have nothing. You don't even understand what's going on or why this random person is attacking you. All right? They had you in the energy of not remembering who you are, your worth. They had you just feeling like anything and everything could happen to you, and because it's always been happening to you, and it's okay. You would defend yourself towards some people, and then some people you would just let them say whatever, do whatever. They had you in the energy of feeling like the victim of the situation. You didn't feel like you were the villain. You didn't feel like you were the hero. You felt like you were the victim, the innocent bystander that gets hit in the fight between the villain and the hero. Whole time you were the hero. You were just fighting the villain, but they had you feeling like you were the innocent bystander. Like they had you feeling like you weren't even a part of the situation. So like, let's say they would block you from family members, right? How they would do it is they would create you to be the villain against them being the hero, either them themselves or the other person. Make it seem like you're talking about them and saying disrespectful things about them behind their back, or just not wanting to be around them, feeling like you're better than them. They had these people really believing that you didn't mess with them and you didn't like them or you didn't care about them, and that you were out to destroy them. Whole time you don't even know anything that's going on. They had your optimism down. They had your happiness down. They had your glow down. They had you envying others that you had more than, or just the same amount. They had you envying people that you actually should love. And vice versa, don't get me wrong. They had this game going with a lot of people, not just you. They had to play all sides in order to keep this thing going, which caused them to have a lot of enemies, because a lot of people caught on. A lot of people caught on. It wasn't just you. And you could have been the one that blew up the spot, right? They had you feeling like you had to let go. You had to let go. You had no choice but to let go. That's how bad they damaged you emotionally, mentally, spiritually. They had you trying to hold on so tight that your hands turned red from how bad you squeezed the rope to hold on. Whole time you was being hanged. But now you're letting go, and they're realizing it. Some of you've already let go. All right? So what else are they realizing now that the energy is no longer in this type of energy? Okay? They have you building on your emotional intelligence, your physical being. You could be going to the gym now. You could be working out. You could be building on your strength. You can be enhancing your beauty. You can be doing a lot right now. And some things are still in the beginning stages. I mean, like you're planning it and taking action, but it's still some in the thought process. Still some things that you want to do, and there's some things that you are doing. All right? They see you having the hope and the faith to get through this again. to get through all of this. They see you manifesting things for your life, going towards those opportunities, walking through those doors. They see you creating some doors for yourself. They see you planting seeds for the future. They hear you talking with so much emphasis, so much enthusiasm on your life that they don't even know what happened, how this happened, where this is coming from, who is pouring into you, who is giving you this newfound energy to get this shit done, to get you out of this stuck energy, to get you out of asking them to open doors for you. Who is helping you? What are you doing? Creating your own lane? How? You need me. That's how they feel. You need me. Talk to me nicely. Come back. What are you doing? That's how they feel. You cast judgment on this situation because you can no longer stay stuck in this situation. You can no longer be punished for things that you have not done, all because this person is miserable within their own life. They're giving you their punishment because they can't handle what they truly need to be handling. They can't face what they got going on, so they try to destroy what you got going on so they can look at how, down and out your life is versus theirs. Whole time, they still got a whole walk of life that they got to figure out and bring back to life because they done fucked up so many things, burnt so many bridges from other people's sides while theirs is still built from their side, but they can't cross back over because the other person burnt their side. They're like, nah, we done with this. We done with you. You weird. The energy, you weird. You weird. Like, I genuinely messed with you. I genuinely cut for you. And you weird. They see you moving on. They see you moving forward. They see you creating lanes for yourself. They see you balancing work and play. You having fun. You're having a ball again. You're enjoying life again. You're building life again. They see you really just stepping into your power. No, sorry, you've stepped into your power, and they see it. They see it in your strength. They see it in your wisdom. They see it in your advice that you give others that you used to give to them. They see it in, oh Lord, you got the king and the queen of fire out here. Girl, you got it going on. You got your appearance popping. You got your face, no acne, baby. You just doing it. You doing it for yourself. You put action to those words, those ideas. You working on your emotional. You building on your foundation. But baby, you walking through them doors and you looking good doing it. You looking great doing it. And there's so much jealousy coming from this other person that is insanely crazy because you were willing to share a percentage of your pie that you didn't have to give them, but they just couldn't do you right. They just couldn't treat you right. They just couldn't love you right. They just couldn't be there for you. They couldn't even fake it that much. That's how much hatred they had. And you don't want nobody to fake it in your life either. But god damn, you didn't like me that much? You hated me that much? You despised me that much? And I ain't giving to you. And I don't even have to. This is crazy. They see your connections with others. They see the giving and the receiving that you're doing with others. They see the love that you're pouring into others that you used to pour into them. That wisdom, that spiritual, what you got going on is something spiritual. You're needed. You're needed, and you can't be in that energy. That's why you had to let go. You had no choice. They need you elsewhere. They need you teaching. They need you guiding. They need you showing, experiencing. They blocking all these opportunities, giving you what they feel you deserve, allowing you to walk through doors they feel you deserve to walk through. Whole time, the doors were created by your God, by your spiritual team. Like, who are you to stand in front of the door? And why are you listening to them? What is going on here? Baby, they had to get him out of there. They had to get him, her, whoever it is, up out of there. Because it was too many doors that you was not walking through. And that delayed a lot of stuff that was supposed to come into your life. And it was a choice that you made ultimately. Regardless of who stood in front of you, you made the choice not to walk through the door. So it stopped certain things that were supposed to come to you, and it delayed other things. It was still your choice at the end of the day. But now, you're choosing again, and you're choosing what you feel is right, not what somebody else is telling you is right. It don't matter if they don't know the path, they don't understand the path. It's not their path. They weren't even presented with this. The only reason why they know about it is because you went and told them. They don't even know. They didn't know about none of these doors until you told them about it. Then here they go, the little snakes living in, slithering up out of them. Saying, nah, I don't think you should do that. Nah, I seen one of my friends, they were trying to go through that, and it was crazy, man. Their boss was crazy up there. It was horrible. They treated them so bad. Yeah, you don't need to take that. You don't need to take that. Nah, don't take that one. Don't take that opportunity right there. Yeah, that's not enough money. Now you deserve 100 million. They only trying to give you 100,000, 100 million. They can give you 100 million. Don't. That's not even realistic. But that's what they would tell you, and you knew it wasn't right. But at the same time, it was like, I fuck with you. You're knowledgeable. You ain't steering me wrong, even though they have. The good outweighed the bad, even though it didn't. You believed in this person. You felt you understood this person. You felt this person understood you. They did. But only to manipulate you, not to enhance your weaknesses, not to strengthen your weaknesses. This person would purposely send people to trigger you so that you wouldn't feel like you can get back up. After they did they do that you couldn't see them do, they went and got other people to do they do that you did see. That way, you will come back to them, such and such did this to me, such and such did that to me, such and such did this to me. And they like, damn, they did that. You know what? Listen, they family, they stupid. Just fuck with them, they'll learn one day. Now you can't leave that job. They only pay you $7.25. You can't leave that job. Where you gonna find better? You ain't gonna find no better. You're not. This person was foolish, and it had you in a state of delusion. I feel like for some people, Krishan Rock and Blueface, you can look at it from either perspective. Put whoever role you want to be in, they both did it to each other. You can look at Cardi B and Offset. You can look at I don't know. Look at the people in your life where you see your homegirl doing foolish shit for a man that ain't doing nothing for her. Your homegirl putting a man before her kids. Look at it from a perspective that resonates with you so that you can see how you were, so that you don't go back and repeat that pattern with anybody that comes to you in the future. That's where the accountability comes in, because a lot of us have been here before. But until you hold yourself accountable for it, how can you stop it from happening again if you felt like nothing happened in the beginning anyway? Hold yourself accountable for how you went about it. Lord, Armand Wiggins is finna go off on Tasha K. Sorry, I just got the notification. He must have just seen the interview. Anyways, so that's gonna be great. Tasha K and Armand Wiggins. If you know the story, you know the story. Put it with this, and hey, this gonna be crazy. But yes, Stay up out of this energy. Stay away from this person. This person does not mean you know well. This person does not want to see you doing well. This person doesn't even want to see you doing a little bit better than them to help them along the way. This person wants you down and out underneath them, not the villain, not the hero. They want you to be the victim, the innocent bystander that doesn't even realize that in their eyes, they're the villain and they're the hero. Which is crazy. All right, so that is your reading for what are people realizing about you now. If that reading resonates, like, share, subscribe, always comment. If it doesn't still, like, share, subscribe, always comment. Thank you.